So today I'm going to be talking about the first module to our series, and in this module we're going to go over something called building the optimal mental framework for trading success. Okay, now this is very crucial for everyone's success in trading, right? This is basically the foundation to how I was able to go and secure funding, how I was able to consistently be profitable, right? It all started from this right here, right? So one thing that we have to understand, coming into trading is that a lot of our minds are not primed to be successful in the market, right? In this journey called life, many people are not primed to be successful in trading. From a young age, our environments, experiences, and the people around us shape our very essence and who we are, all right? How we think, our view on the world, okay? And in this battlefield that is the world, this can actually be a double-edged sword, right? It can be a double-edged sword because some people grow up with people around them that actually support them to teach them, good things that are going to help them. But others actually, are given limiting beliefs by other people, and other people's limiting beliefs are forced upon them from a very young age while their brain is still developing. And this can very much greatly impact, right, your success, not only in trading, but also in your life more than a lot of people think. All right. So I just want you to think about, right now, just take a moment to think about how you were raised, and just maybe, just put some thought to how that could have affected, right, your trading up until this point. Right. So it's not just about, how we were raised, but it's also the society that we're currently in right now that actually dictates a lot of how our brain is wired. So we live in an age of information. Okay. People are always, doing something. We're busy, busy, busy on Instagram, on social media. All right. And this is actually very harmful to the brain. Why is it harmful, you may ask? Well, we're being programmed for failure through social media. Social media actually, one, reduces your attention span, gives you a false perception of reality, and it makes us compare our journey to someone else's. This is very, very, very detrimental to your results in your longevity in trading, right? It also makes us crave instant gratification, which is, quick results without any effort. So all these things can definitely, greatly impact you in trading. You got to be very careful. And just a little story of, my come up and on my journey, I started trading in 2021, right? I started getting into the market, a little bit. I traded high frequency trading first before I even got into, futures and CFDs with the prop firms. But I basically had to come to a realization that to do this, to be successful in this, I would have to block out the noise, right? So my first 6 months in trading, I deleted all social media. I went off the grid basically. At that time I was working a job. I was working at a restaurant, and that was the only thing that was on my mind was trading. Even when I was at my job, the people, my boss would get mad because he would see me on my phone, right, looking at the charts and everything. And it was just an obsession. It was just an obsession, and that's what's needed. But you need to block out the noise, right? Because going on Instagram every day, going on social media every day to see how good someone else can be doing, and you're not at that level yet, can greatly impact you. You can feel like I need to get to this point, or I need to be this successful, when really everybody has their own journey. All right. So this is, the first thing in developing your mental framework, right? Is just blocking out the noise. You need to block out the noise and everybody else's opinions. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a horse race, but in a horse race, every horse has blinders. They're not able to see the left, they're not able to see to the right, because if they look to the left or right, it might slow them down. It's the same thing in our life. You need to be able to keep going forward, right? And keep on your journey that God has for you, right? And you got to keep at it without any other distraction. So, I went over how we're raised and how our brain is basically primed for failure. So now you might be asking, okay, well, how do I really develop the right mental framework, right? I know that, maybe I wasn't raised the best way, maybe I wasn't brought up to be successful in this, but, I'm here to tell you that even no matter how your past was, no matter how you were raised, right? You can become successful in trading if you put in the work, if you're just given the right information. And I'm here to give it to you because I've tested it. It works. I've done it and I've seen results from it. All right. So the main two things that we have to do to develop the right mental framework for trading success is one, altering our core beliefs, right? And two, changing our awareness, right? Basically, being aware of our thoughts within different market conditions. Now, this is very important, and a lot of people don't focus on this. A lot of people focus too much on entry strategies or precision elements, right, that ICT teaches, when all these are great, right? All these are okay. But if you don't understand the beliefs that you have, the subconscious beliefs that you have, right? And if you don't understand your thoughts that are happening, you're not going to be able to process why you have a profitable strategy, why you understand ICT's concepts, but you're not able to be profitable, right? Because, the paradox is that to be successful in trading, it's not even anything on the chart, right, that you need to pay attention to. That's the great paradox, right? It's yourself. Okay. And so the first thing that we need to really focus on is our beliefs. Now, beliefs are very important and they make up a lot of what we do. People don't even realize it, right? Drop a 1 in the chat if you believe that beliefs make up a lot of your actions in your daily life. Okay. Beliefs are very important. People don't even understand how important these are, right? So the foundation in which the proper mental framework is built upon is your core beliefs. Now, I don't know if anyone's read the book Trading in Zone, right, by Mark Douglas, but he talks a lot about beliefs and how beliefs are so important in your everyday trading. Okay. If you think about it, right, in the market, we sell or buy depending on what our beliefs communicate to us about the price action that we're engaging with, right? For someone, a price point might be, prime time to sell, or for someone else, it might be a good time to buy. What determines that? It's their beliefs on what they think is low or high in the market, right? So beliefs are within your subconscious mind, and your subconscious beliefs are at the driver's seat of your actions. Okay. I had to, coming up in trading, I blew a lot of accounts. I lost a lot of money, right? And I had to really take a step back, right? Why are people able to be successful with any strategy, not even ICT, right? Any strategy, but I wasn't able to even be profitable with, not 90% accuracy and 90% win rate concepts. Why couldn't I become consistent? And I had to look within myself and see that it was my limiting beliefs that I had. I didn't necessarily believe that I could be successful at trading within, right? I thought that I had to be different or, know something else, right? Or myself, I wasn't good enough. And so these beliefs manifest themselves, okay? In Mark Douglas's book, Trading the Zone, he talks about how every belief has a desire to manifest themselves, right? They have a desire to express themselves. And that's what they do in trading. All right. And I'm going to get into it, a lot more and how your beliefs basically influence your trading. But even when you're on the chart all the time, right, you might think it's an emotion of fear or greed, but really it's your belief, right? Maybe that you believe that, something's going to go up and you don't want to miss the move. All right. You don't want to miss that move and you have to get in. You have to get in right there because your whole life is dependent on it. If you miss this, you're not going to be able to pay off your rent. You're not going to be able to do this, right? It's going to be a trade that slips by you and you need that so bad, right? So it's your beliefs on what price action is communicating. Price action itself is neutral. It's not good or bad, but it's only what we project onto the market that determines the results that we're going to get. Okay. So each individual's belief is a component of what we consider to be our identity. I want you to really meditate on that. Think on that, right? Each individual's belief is a component of what we consider to be our identity. Our beliefs make up us, who we are, right? And so how we change our beliefs is simply through the repetition of the right affirmations. Okay, this will help you develop, your proper subconscious beliefs. And once you do this, then you will start to move in the right direction in trading. I talked a little bit about this and my psychology series with affirmations, right? But affirmations are so important in changing and rewiring those beliefs because it helps you to think differently about yourself, and actually, right, those beliefs become a core part of who you are, and you naturally just start to express it through your trading and through the charts. Okay, you guys have probably heard it that consistent traders are not just consistent traders, they're consistent individuals, right? That's so important. That's a key point because a lot of people think that I can just be consistent in trading but not consistent with something else in my life. No, it's a key belief that they have that I am just a consistent individual. All right. And if I go to trading, it's just going to translate over into trading. So how do we make these affirmations, right? Affirmations are very simple to create. What's important to understand about affirmations, right, is that the words that you're going to speak create your reality. Okay. So creating affirmations for every area of your life is super, super important, right? So let's just say, I'm a trader and I have a negative limiting beliefs, right? With my psychology, with, let's just say, not entering a trade at the right time, right? Fear of missing out, right? I would want to, correct this by changing that belief with affirmations. And how I would do this is I would first take a sheet of paper, right? And this is actually what I did. This is what I did to change the beliefs that I currently had and change them into the beliefs that I wanted to have, right? So I took out a piece of paper, I split it down the middle, and I basically wrote out on the left side every single part of me, who I was, the things that I did, right? My very nature of myself. I wrote out on the left side the bad things, everything I wrote out. And then on the right side, I wrote out, who I wanted to be as a person. If you haven't done this, this is so crucial, and this will help you in trading so much. I want you to stop thinking about the money just for a second, right? Because this is way more important than just money, okay? If you do this, this will literally change the course of your trading future, right? Everything else will just seem to work out because you've done this and you put in the work and the time to actually go through and rewire yourself, okay? So what you want to do is write out, like I said, on the left side of the paper, you're who you are right now, the beliefs that you have, right? Maybe, right now you're not as confident as you want to be. Maybe, you don't take action when opportunity presents itself, right? Maybe that's just who you are. And, and the biggest lie that someone can ever say is that's just who I am, right? I've heard so many people say, well, that's just who I am. You can change that. The best thing about us as human beings is that we can change and become greater. We can become someone else. All right. So you want to write down that on the left side, on the right side, write down who you want to be. So, on the right side, you can write down confident, right? I want to be someone who's confident. I want to be someone who takes advantage of opportunity. I want to be someone who's friendly, right? Who's a people's person, whatever it is, just doesn't have to be just trading, but this is going to translate into the market. I'm someone who always takes advantage of opportunity when opportunity presents itself. Okay. These are things that you can write down on the right side. And what you're going to do after that is you're going to create affirmations for them. Right. So affirmations are going to help you. And you can start out, saying, I am successful, right? I am a great manager of trading equity, right? I am a great manager of equity in general. And you repeat these things over time, it's going to start seeping into your subconscious. And then that's going to be a core belief that expresses itself through the market. Then you'll start to change and you see that belief right there that you put in always expresses itself in the market. A core belief that I have in the market is that I'm just a naturally consistently profitable trader. So no matter what happens in the market, even, if I take a loss, it has to come back and basically, the world, right? Like I said before, the words create your reality. So the words have to manifest themselves, right? What I believe has to manifest itself. And so everything has to work out back to fit that belief. So everything, no matter how much I'm down or from in drawdown, I always can come back from it. And I always have, because I have that core belief with no doubt. That's what's important. Okay. So doing this is going to greatly impact your trading career, right? So definitely, that's a plan of action after this call is over to go and do that, right? Go and write down those affirmations. Go and write down who you are right now and who you want to be, and then use the affirmations to help change your psychological makeup. Okay. Now, the next thing that I want to really just meditate on is this statement right here. Being aware of your thoughts will lead to the proper management of self within market conditions. Okay, this is super important. I'm going to repeat that again. Being aware of your thoughts will lead to the proper management of self within market conditions. Why are thoughts so important? Right? Thoughts are very important because everything that was ever created in this world starts off as a thought. Okay, you see the TV here, you see a microphone in the world, you see a sign, a book, right? Everything that is on this earth was first in the mind of someone that created it. So your thoughts are so important, and it's the same thing in trading. Now, I'm going to give you guys a gem right here that I still use to this day that helps me just be conscious of my thoughts because I realize the result that can follow your thoughts. And what this is, it's something called the TEAR, right? Tier mindset. Okay. And what this says is that your thoughts lead to your emotions, which leads to actions, which ultimately leads to your results. So in trading, right, your results can always be linked back to the thoughts you were thinking and the thoughts that you acted upon. If you just take a moment to think about that right now, every single action or result that you had in trading was due to a thought, maybe subconscious, right? Maybe it was conscious, but it was a thought nonetheless that you acted upon. So to have consistent results in trading, there needs to be consistent engagement with the right thoughts and the denial of the thoughts that aren't in alignment with your trading process and plan. All right. There needs to be consistent engagement with the right thoughts. That is so important. Right. Drop a 3 in the chat if you believe that your thoughts directly impact your results in trading. All right. We got some 3s coming in. Cool. Exactly. Right. It's so important. And a lot of people don't talk about this. A lot of people talk too much about technicals, right? They talk too much about entry, exit, your trading plan. But this is the most important thing because I had to look back in my trading career and I had to say, okay, how did I get to this point? Right. And even when I was, not profitable trader, when I was consistently losing, because there was a point in time where I was consistently losing, I was, failing funded accounts challenges, and I wasn't able to get the results I wanted. And I had to really, in that period, right, think about why I was doing what I was doing. And it was because of my thoughts. All right. Now, this is so important. I'm going to give some examples, right? Just think of in the market, whenever, you're in the market and a large impulsive move happens, you can get that thought to say, oh, just buy, right? You should buy right now. Just do this, right? Or sell right now, right? Just sell. These impulsive thoughts happen in our head. And if you're not aware of it, you can actually give into those thoughts very quickly and be entered into the market within a blink of an eye. And once that happens, it's very hard, okay, to get out the market because then once you're in a position, more thoughts start coming in, right? I can't get out this trade because it's going to go here. It has to, right? It has to go to this point. So many thoughts pop up into your head. And if you're not careful about being aware of the detrimental thoughts that pop into your head, it's going to have a direct impact on the results that you get. I want everyone to look at this picture. Now, this has no context, no framework behind it. It's just a simple chart. All right. But I want you to think of the emotion that's invoked with large candle movement. The reason why tons of liquidity is generated in the market is because of people's emotions, because of thoughts that pop up in people's heads. Everything originates from that, right? Trading, we understand that it's a mental game. Nothing about trading is physical. It's all in the mind. So why not learn more about how to properly engage with the market and yourself within market conditions. Okay, so now that your mind has an objective when trading, right, and that objective is to be more aware of your thoughts, you'll start to be more aware of the illogical thoughts that pop up into your mind. Now, what your job is to journal those thoughts. All right, what time of day are they happening? Is it a thought that that is the result of displacement happening, or maybe it's a thought, right, that's urging you to get in the market when the market is choppy because you feel a need to get in a trade, right? You just got to get in a trade, even if there's no setup there. All right. I want you to start journaling these things. It's so important that you are aware of your thoughts while in the live market, right? And if you haven't been journaling, this is a must. Braveheart recommends it, right? ICT always recommends it. Journaling is so important because it's going to help you know you. It's going to help you know yourself within the market. And that's the whole goal, is to know yourself and how you respond to different market conditions so that you can be consistently profitable and choose to engage with the right thoughts in every market condition. Okay. So this is going to give you a wealth of information. All right. Knowing when or what market environment, the thoughts arise under will give you a wealth of information and knowledge concerning your thought patterns and what, same thoughts are likely to pop up time and time again. Once you see a thought arise and pop up, you know yourself, right? So those same thoughts are going to come up and they're going to try to express themselves to the market again and again. So I've talked about thoughts. Now I want to talk about really how to properly engage with the thoughts, right? Engage with wrong thoughts and also engaging with the right thoughts. This is super important. So someone that's greatly helped me in trading, right, is Jared Tendler and his book, right, The Mental Game of Trading. So Jared Tendler talks about a concept, that's very interesting, and it's called injecting logic statements. So this quote, says injecting logic statements are the real-time antidote for the emotion causing errors in your execution. Okay, so the goal is to track your logical thoughts and combat them before they get a chance to manifest into poor trading results. All right, we can do this by using injecting logic statements. And so what injecting logic statements, right, do is that they're rooted in logic, okay, that negates the logical thought and it realigns your thought process to match your originally desired outcome. So a lot of times, even in my trading journey, I've realized that I had the intention of following my trading plan when I hopped on the chart, like we all do, right? For those who have a trading plan, we all go into the market with the intention to follow it. But there's little things that happen throughout that day that might throw you off course until you get to a point where you're done trading, the trading day is done, and you look at your results, you're like, how did I lose so much money? Right? How did I get to this point? And it all started with an illogical thought that you chose to meditate on and actually give energy, right? By choosing to meditate on this instead of using injecting logic statement, this led to that thought eventually manifesting itself. Okay. So when using injecting logic statements, you want to have an injecting logic statement for every single potential thought and emotion that could pop up. Emotions are just the signal of an underlying cause. This is what Jared Tendler says in his book. So emotions are just an indicator of what's happening and what's going on in your subconscious. Okay. So you might get in a trade, right? And, over leverage. And you think that over leveraging is the main issue, right? Because of greed. When really you're over leveraging because in your current condition in your life, you need money to pay rent. And this trade has to, because you have rent coming up and it's going to be, be all or nothing, right? You have to pay that rent and it has to happen on this trade, right? So you get greedy and you enter the market and you up your lot size and the market ends up stopping you out. Then you get stopped out. After you get stopped out, right, you start getting revengeful. You go on something called tilt, right? And it starts a series of bad trades that you enter without logic, okay? So the brain and how it works, we only really have two logical decisions that we make, all right? And after that, the brain can start making emotional decisions. Once we take 2 losses in trading, all right, it's proven that all logic is basically bound to go out the window, and emotions will override that practical and that logical part of your brain that tells you, your trading plan, to follow it, to get in and out, right? What you should be doing. Your logical part of your brain then turns on, and you go down the road, right, of bad trades, bad execution, bad performance, which ultimately leads to bad trading results. So to stop that, you need injecting logic statements. All right, these are so key. So for example, let's say, focus. Focus is a big thing in trading. You need focus because focus is going to allow you to be there and be aware of the opportunity that's in the market, right? If you're not focused, you can go downstairs or go outside real quick, get distracted doing something and come back to the chart, and you missed out on the trade for the day. And then that would lead to you basically getting other trades because you missed out on the trade you're supposed to get in. And those were not, your A+ setups that you look for. So focus is important. Now, an injecting logic statement for focus would be, I must, right, focus in the market right now because trading is a business and I must treat it as so. After, the trading day is over, I can focus on other things, but not right now. That's an example of injecting logic statement that you can repeat when you feel the need or that thought comes up in your head to go off and be distracted, right? So repeating these things out loud is important because you're reminding yourself and your brain of what it must do. You're giving it a command that it must follow. Okay. If not, your brain, your subconscious and whatever, the bad beliefs that you have are going to override, and they're going to take control of your trading. So this is how you basically stop and prevent those thoughts from coming up. And everything that I'm saying here has been tested and it works. All right. So that's another thing that I want everyone to do after this call is over, is to go, and one, write out your beliefs and everything else and the affirmations you want, but also start creating injecting logic statements for yourself. All right. And this might take some time because you need to understand what thoughts arise during what market condition and what time in the market. All right. After you know that, you're going to be able to develop injecting logic statements for yourself. So I definitely recommend doing that, and also going and reading Jared Tindler's book because it would help a lot. So that is how you basically develop the right mental framework, right? It's very simple, but it's not, right, as easy as it sounds. Okay, it's simple, but it's not easy. So you want to basically be doing these things, and this is going to make sure that you have the right mental framework to guarantee you, a long trading career. And of course, the longer we're in the market, with the concepts that we use, the more chance we have at making more profit. So now it's time for a Q&A. So any questions that you have, you can basically raise your hand, right, and I'll unmute you, or just drop, the comment or the question in the chat, and I'll make sure to answer it right now. But this basically concludes, today's live stream, live stream 1 of the Mind Over Market series. So I hope you guys enjoyed. So we can go over questions now, and I'll answer them. So just feel free to unmute yourself, or just drop it in the chat. Okay, we got a question. Do you have a 3-strike rule, like take 3 losses and done for the day? All right, so I actually have a 2-strike rule. So I have 2 losses. I can take max and I'm done for the day, because like I said, after you get those 2 losses, then that does something to the brain, right? And it basically turns on the emotional side of the brain, right? Your amygdala, and that basically controls your trading, and you don't want that. So for me, I have a rule in my trading plan where I take 1 loss. If it's a 1% loss, I cut risk down half. If I lose that trade, I'm done for the day. Okay. And that limits me, and that keeps me, from all the losses I could have taken. Now, this is important to follow your trading plan, because yes, you can keep trading and you could potentially make back everything that you made, but also it can get much worse and you can dig yourself in a deeper hole than you originally intended to. And that's why stopping and cutting your losses short is so important. So I hope that answered your question, Everett. So we have the next one from PMDT. Have you used any meditation apps to help guide your process? So I'm basically, no, I don't really meditate so much. I basically will just make sure that I'll just sit, before I have it in my trading process, right? My trading pre-market routine. I'll basically go over, each step that I need to do, and I'll basically make sure that I'm present in the moment, right? Make sure that I'm being aware of my thoughts as they pop up. I'll sit in silence, I'll even have music, that I play the same music that I play, every single time. Why do I do the same music? Is because it, primes your brain for the same type of environment or circumstance. So let's just say I have classical music or classical music playing, one time of the day, and I have a great performance for that day. I'll keep playing that same type of music because your brain will associate that sound, and then it'll also associate the actions done with that specific environment. So that's what I do for that. Hope that answered that. Example on inserting logic statements. Okay, so injecting logic statements. What I have over here. I actually have a whole thing. If you guys, can you guys see me? Drop a 2 in the chat if you guys can see me. I don't know if you guys can see my screen or see myself. Okay, cool. Can. All right, so I have, different injecting logic statements. So one of them is like a note card, right? And it says missing a nice prior move. So, for people who miss nice prior moves, right, that they'll probably get emotional and try to basically revenge trade because they missed the trade that they should have took. So now they got to make up for that loss or make up for that missed trade, right? When really they didn't have a trade at all. So this is what it says in the back. No trade is the same as another. There are more high probability trades that will manifest, which you can execute on. Be patient for those. So by saying this, I'm reminding myself of the truth, of the logical truth of the market, right? Because when you're live, in the market, you're going to get a lot of illogical statements and a lot of illogical thoughts that pop in your head. So using these injected logic statements will help greatly. All right. Just another one. This is need to be in a trade to get closer to goals. And so what it says is I only enter the market when my trade criteria is met for high probability setups. By doing this, I'm increasing my chances of winning, which will bring me one step closer to my goals. So I'm using this statement, and if you read, Jerry Chandler's book, he'll basically say that you need to, write down your mental hand history and, what the problem is, and you got to say why that thought is illogical, and then correct that thought with the right logic. So the right logic is basically by sticking to high probability setups only, right? When my trade criteria is met, it would actually be bringing me one step closer to my goals. So that's what I use. The next one is pen. How long is it good for the mental rewiring to start taking effect? So it depends. It depends. For me, I would say affirmations and rewiring your brain and just the injecting logic statements also, I would say 30 days usually, you can start seeing the effect of using those statements because, the habits that are formed within your brain and your subconscious, right, usually tends to take around 30 days, 35 days to form. So that's really the time it takes. So you need to, write down, and I literally have a checklist for like each day where I'll check off a day after I either, perform well in the market or use the injecting logic statements. So I'll basically have a checklist that will mark off until 30 days. And after that, that's when I'll basically be able to start seeing the effects of using those here.